Sup guys, it's boy Justin with another book review for Fantasy Month. By the way, please like and comment, guys. Keep the likes and comments going. So yeah, this we're reviewing the 1983 fantasy book, The Sleeping Dragon, Book 1 of the Guardian of Flame, written by Joel Rosenberg. This is published by Signet Fantasy. And yeah, I just picked this book up the other day, and I just saw the cover, and I recognized Joel Rosenberg's name as somebody who was like a best-selling author. So I'm like, okay, it's a short book, which I thought was like 220 pages. It turns out it's like 253, and the pages are thick dude. Like holy crap, man! Compared to the last book I read, where the text was huge. Holy crap. But yeah, I read this book. It took me like 3 days to finish it. And it was pretty good. I could see why this was the author's first book. And for a first book, it was pretty good. Which I love the cover. The cover looks good though. It kind of looks like they're posing for a picture. but yeah, it's way better than the covers we get today. Right. So yeah, the book is basically a Dungeons and Dragons version of the Flonavar tapestry. But unlike the Flonavar tapestry, where you have people from our world going to a fantasy world to save it from, some evil dark lord. Here it's a little different. It's basically a bunch of college students who are part of a D&D group, get tricked by their dungeon master, their DM, who is a 60-year-old college professor, and sends them to this fantasy world where they have to look for the gate between worlds. So he could have them bring him over to the fantasy world so he can become the greatest wizard ever. And he does this without telling them, without telling them beforehand. So they're stuck in the fantasy world in the bodies of their role-playing characters, which this is all explained away as the collective unconscious, which is like a term by, oh my god, I have two of his books and I forget his name, Carl Jung. Carl Jung came up with the term collective unconscious. So it's like, wow, dude. So our characters have to go on a journey in this fantasy world to go and find the gate, this mythical gate that like most people don't even think exists, which is found only in like tunnel in a mountain that's across a wasteland that's guarded by the oldest dragon in the world, right? Holy crap. So yeah, I don't want to spoil too much of the book because I did enjoy the book, which I was planning on spoiling a lot actually, because most of you guys don't even read books, and I thought, oh, if I spoil the book, maybe you'll hear something interesting and want to check it out, which the book is good. And it is short, man. This should, like, even if you're new at reading books, man, this shouldn't take you more than a week to read. Honestly, dude. This was a good book. Though I do have some problems with the book. One, because our characters are college kids, there's a lot of melodrama bullshit, like you have which this is weird. Was very weird. But I had to remember back in the 80s, you did have jocks play Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like Vin Diesel, for example, because they didn't have they did have video games, but video games sucked. Okay, so it's like, yeah, like I could, if I was born in that generation, I would probably be into Dungeons and Dragons more than fucking video games. Like I said, video games back then in the 80s sucked. I'm sorry if you grew up with 80s video games. Video games didn't start to get good until the 90s, in my opinion. But yeah, so like what happens right away is that they lose one of their thieves. Their thieves and their thieves like right off the bat, like within a day of them going to the fantasy world, and there was also the thing where like the jock dude bangs the not girlfriend of the main character Carl, even though when he was it's revealed that he banged the dude's not girlfriend, but come on, like you knew he was interested in her. Turns out like he was giving our main character a hard time for calling a girl, the dude's what we thought was his former girlfriend, the S word. Oh my god, which is like, yeah, there's a lot of high school melodrama bullshit, which is like, yeah, you didn't think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bang the one dude's like girlfriend, not girlfriend, that he's been trying to get with, and at the same time I'm gonna not give him a hard time for talking shit to my girlfriend. It's like, what fucking, it's like wow, dude, it's like he's a feminist when he wants to be, but playboy, he's supposed to, like the Walter the thief was feminist when he wanted to be, but then also a playboy to the next. It's like, what the, I really hated Walter's character. I didn't really hate him, but it's like, wow, dude, like Walter is so dumb at times, man. And like, because in the real world, he's like a football hero, jock, tall guy. But in the fantasy world that they go to, he's like a medium height thief who who can't even fight. By the way, that's one of the major problems I have with the book is that not a lot of fighting, and sometimes they skip fights. Like they had this rivalry between this one swordsman, Oldman. And they don't show the final fight between Carl and Oldman, which Carl is his warrior's name is supposed to be Beric, but his real name is Carl. You have James. One of the characters is a computer scientist kid in a wheelchair who plays the dwarf, who's the dwarf Ahira. You have Doria as the cleric. You have Lou Ricidi as the magician Aristobulus, and they don't even show like half the other characters. Like the Carl's girlfriend Andy is another wizard, and they have Jason Parker as another thief called Einar Lightfingers, who's called Lightfingers because he only has one hand. You would think, coming to this fantasy world and only having one hand, you would not be a cocky bastard. But yeah, it was like, that was so dumb about it. But yeah, most of the opponents that they fight in the book are humans. There's like no monsters that they fight except for the dragon, which they didn't really fight at the end. So that thing bothered me. It's like, why could there's no this is supposed to be Dungeons and Dragons. They don't call it Dungeons and Dragons. They get rid of the levels. Instead of levels, it's like alphabetical order and classes. Instead of A class being like the best, it's like A class is considered like level 1, and they're all K class. So whatever that is, I don't know. I think I'm not good at my alphabet, my alphabets. But yeah, so it's like it would have been nice if there was a variety of creatures or monsters that they fight. But then it turns out at the end of the book I figure out why there are only human opponents in the book, because at the end of the book they get, spoiler alert, they get stuck in the fantasy world and decide after meeting the head cleric decides to devote themselves to getting rid of slavery in the fantasy world because um, like early on in the book, the main character frees a dragon, a baby dragon that's been kept in a sewer, chained to a sewer by the wizards, which I did like that the world building that Pendafway that the free city, that's not ruled by a kingdom or anything. It turns out or lords. It's turns out it is just as oppressive. It turns out that there is no like elected there are no council members or whatever. It's all run by the Wizarding Guild, the Wizards Guild. Uh, which I thought, oh, that was a cool reveal. Who had the dragon chained up to get rid of like the trash and sewage of the city? They just dump all their trash in a pit where the dragon's chained up, and the dragon has to use his flame breath to destroy it. So, which the dragon joins the party at the end. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I enjoyed the book. It does get really dark near the end. It's not a light fantasy adventure like Gordon R. Dixon's book, which what I thought was going to be based off the artwork. It does get really dark, and there is swearing, and there is some grim dark stuff in the book. But otherwise, I did enjoy the book, and if I do find other books in this series, I do plan on reading them. So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. Our next fantasy book review, I haven't decided yet, but we'll be, if if we get decent likes and views, we'll do another poll. All right, guys, peace.